In this video, I'm going to be talking about an awesome trilogy of books in the FASA Fastest Battletech universe. Mechanized death machines for the win. So in 1995, Activision published an action-packed mech tactical simulator game that was going to go absolutely bonkers, selling 500,000 copies in its first quarter on the PC alone, before eventually being ported to the PlayStation and Saturn systems. Frankly, it was one of those seminal moments in gaming, all powered by MS-DOS initially, and Mechwarrior fans to this day remain completely besotted with the main characters, the technology trees, the history and the general lore. It's a living, breathing universe. Check out YouTube channels such as Black Pants Legion and you will see what I mean. Some amazing content and storytelling there. However, it all passed me by because I had a bloody Packard Bell with what must have been a dismal video card back in the day. If my memory serves, I never got the demo even running, and then that was it. I just never tried it. Never tried a game that many of my generation herald as the perfect blend of action and simulation and universe building. So here I am, almost 25 years later, finally getting around to seeing what all the bloody fuss is about. And it all started with a trip to my local charity shop and a casual browse through the book section. So how it goes is that I always make an effort to scan the books in this particular charity shop. It's tricky because there are always so many and I have limited time to browse, yada yada. But I noticed a couple with the rock publishing symbol on the spine. Now I always keep an eye out for this symbol in particular in the vain hope of finding in the wild the Gabriel Knight, A Beast Within, the novel of the game. I'm still dreaming of that happening though, because frankly I'm not going to pay over $100 for it on eBay because that's just stupid. Anyway, this time I found 3 Rock Pub books, all part of the Battletech series, and even better, a full trilogy. So at the time I wasn't to know that this would be perfect 3 books for me to read and the perfect intro into Battletech. A total of $9 Australian, so very cheap, and that will do very nicely, Mr. Salvation Army. On top of this, apparently these 3 books were the inspiration behind a 90s cartoon series which has absolutely aged terribly, as I watched a few on YouTube. Not a patch on Jason the Wheeled Warriors, but I do like the computer generated sequences. Anywho, the 3 books, The Blood of Kerensky, chart the course of a large number of principal characters and their story arcs over a period of a couple of years. They do an excellent job of a huge amount of things. For example, I very quickly understood that the galaxy, or which they call the Inner Sphere, was split into a number of kingdoms, for want of a better word, and have been warring with each other for centuries. These wars are called the Succession Wars. Each kingdom seems derived from a particular culture, so there's Japanese, Chinese, Swedish and German, from what I can pick up. And then there is this peculiar quasi-religious order called Comstyle that seem to own Earth, and they call it Terra now, as well as a stranglehold on planetary system communications, and they end up being redonkulously powerful through this trilogy. On top of this, we have these super soldier clans who come in from outside of the Inner Sphere and start whooping ass left, right and centre whilst dressing up as dead animals for their interesting cultural events. And between all these groups we have heaps of mechanised warfare going on. Lots of descriptions of the mechs themselves, the different loadouts, missiles, depleted uranium rounds, lasers, armour melting and dripping off various combat vehicles. Awesome descriptions of the technology, the battlefields and the one-on-one battles between the characters, the decisions they take, the mistakes they make. It all makes for an extremely entertaining ride, and it is a little overwhelming at first, but these books do a nice job of making it pretty clear what's going on pretty fast. I was really amazed by the amount of detail the author packs into this trilogy. It took me a few weeks to read through all 3, but it was pretty easy going, you know. So back to the story. Essentially we have these successor states, or these each kingdom, warring against each other, and then these clan dudes with superior mechs and technology and weapons and things come out of nowhere to start invading and subjugating worlds. This forces the successor states to eventually band together, get over their interpersonal issues. They eventually get similar weaponry, but to be honest they aren't really a match for the clans. You see, the clans are descendants of the old Star League, the old Inner Sphere army I guess, who left the Inner Sphere 300 years ago, then put in place this breeding program wherever they lived out in the periphery, and culture which is now purely bred for war. Now it gets more complicated than this. There is clan politics and things which really get interesting in the 3rd book. But pretty much most of the clans affiliate themselves as crusaders, and they want to come back and conquer the inner sphere and reunite it, so there's no more of this successor state stuff, it's just one big fat state. And then there's also the Warden. So one clan in particular, the Wolf clan, is opposed to this crusader train of thought. They're part of the Warden faction and prefer to stay out of the inner sphere completely. But they push forward with the invasion in an attempt to dictate how the invasion is run, kind of fighting the power from within, you know? This way lessening the impact of the invasion on civilian worlds. And hey, it's heaps deeper than this, but that's beyond the scope of what I want to get into in this video. Suffice to say, there is a mother of all battles at the end of the third book, which is a rip-roaring read, a massive slaughterfest. And you see, this is where it hands off nicely to Mechwarrior 2, the game, which I've been showing throughout the video, because it brings this video kind of full circle. Because the story in Mechwarrior 2 is that after this massive bastard of a battle, the Clan Wolf is accused of sabotaging the overall invasion by the Crusaders. Clan Wolf then refused this allegation and requests for the matter to be settled by combat, a trial of refusal they call it. So one of the other clans who hate the Wolf clan, the Jade Falcons, who in my view in the cartoon and in the book seem pretty thick, take up the challenge. And then in the game you play through the missions for each as part of what they call the Refusal Wars. Phew! When I talk it through, it's certainly so complex. Suffice to say that I was extremely surprised at how quickly I became absorbed into the Battletech universe. I'm now quite keen to play through a bit of Mechwarrior and have it set up on DOSBox for convenience. I also have installed Mechwarrior Mercenaries on my Pentium machine for the real deal if I so wish. But more likely I'll keep an eye out for more books, or at least some digital EPUBs if I can find them on the interwebs. I am totally want to know how Kai Allard reacts to the news of his dad and if he goes apeshit. I also want to know if Hans finally gets to shag the Draconian Combine Princess at some point. There's so many loose ends now that I want to go and figure out what goes on. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed listening to this, especially if you guys love the Mechwarrior games, if you've never read the books. I just really wanted to talk about how much fun I thought these were and how it's really got me interested in exploring bits of this old franchise. If you have a similar experience or think I should get on and read any other particular books, please tell me in the comments. These were a blast to read, so looking out for more. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed listening to this, then consider giving it a like. If you want to hear more kind of things like this, then consider subscribing. I really appreciate you listening, and I hope to see you in the next one, so I'll see you later. Bye!